Cristiano Ronaldo, he's one of the best footballers to ever play the game. You could put him in a top 5 with Maradona, Messi, Pele, Cruyff, but since he left Juventus, it's just got a bit sad really. So this video is called How to Destroy Legacy featuring Cristiano Ronaldo. Currently Ronaldo is playing in the Saudi Pro League for Al Nassr. He is currently earning about £200 million a year, and I think there's two reasons why he chose to move to Saudi Arabia. One was clearly financial, and I don't think many of us can argue with that. He's earning a ridiculous amount of money, and although he's probably already a billionaire, securing just his family's lifestyle for probably 3 or 4 generations, you can't really argue after what he's done in the game. However, the other thing is the need for approval, the need for worship from fans, and I think he's not going to get that anywhere else other than Saudi Pro League. Saudi Arabia is definitely one of the most underrated football hotspots in the world. As we can see in the World Cup when they beat Argentina, it was a huge cultural moment for them, and it was fantastic, and I think people there idolise Cristiano Ronaldo. I do think this is why Ronaldo has moved over there, because he found it in England. He was seen as a depreciating asset basically. Italy obviously didn't want him, Real Madrid clearly didn't want him, and I think it was a case where he did feel a bit tossed aside by all the top European clubs. I mean, apparently he was still trying to stay in Europe, but no top European clubs wanted him because he was too much of a headache after leaving Manchester United. And I think the fact that he went to Saudi Arabia, he's a god over there basically. He's the complete face of just the nation's sport, and he has it all to himself. He's got star players, well, you know, older star players like a Mane or a Benzema, but he is clearly the face of it over there, and I think that's exactly what he wanted. However, that comes at a price, because as we can see, his running mate for the Ballon d'Or for 10-15 years, Lionel Messi, he moved to win at Miami last summer as well. And I think we can see from him through the brand image, it's working a lot better than it is for Ronaldo. At least talking about Western media, because we saw when Messi played his first game, he scored a free kick in the last minute. It was viral, it was the most talked about goal in the world that day. And it had people like LeBron James, Serena Williams, all in attendance, the biggest stars in America, and they were all obsessed about Messi. And you can't tell me if Ronaldo went over to play for Miami before Messi did, he wouldn't be seen as a global star as well. However, I think Messi understands that he's got his legacy now, it's set in stone. He is one of, if not the greatest player to ever play the game, and he doesn't need to prove anything. And also with America, despite Messi being that global star and being that icon for that 6 months when he was dominating it for Inter Miami, he's still always going to be a backseat to a LeBron James, to a Kevin Durant. Unfortunately, in America, football just isn't as big, so you're not going to be as a household name. And I think that leads me onto the 3 stages, in my opinion, that aging superstars have in football. I think we look at number 1, and that is the superstars who go out on a high. I don't mean they've won the Champions League and then they've called it a day right after that. I mean someone like a Paolo Maldini or a Paul Scholes or a Philip Lahm, who ended the club they played for most of their career. They've been an integral part of that team throughout their last few years, but they realise they're just not good enough anymore. They might not fancy it anymore, their body might not be able to keep up with the demands, and they've called it a day, and no one can argue with it. I think this is the best way for a superstar to leave, because it leaves a great taste in everyone's mouth. The club loves them because they didn't try to hold on for it too long. They still tried to help the team, as Maldini helped AC Milan win Champions Leagues in his last few years. Lahm, the same with Bayern Munich, and everyone at the end of the day can shake hands and call it a day. Then I think you've got number 2, and that is the aging player who chooses a new opportunity elsewhere. You can look at a Steven Gerrard with LA Galaxy, you can look at a Lampard with New York, or a Rooney with DC United. All excellent players, just couldn't keep up with the physical demands anymore, and unfortunately weren't good enough to stay in the Premier League. And I think a lot of these players choose America because they're not seen as household names like all the people I previously mentioned. Steven Gerrard can walk down the street in LA and not get noticed by, probably 1 in 100 people, whereas if he stayed in Liverpool, he would not be able to walk anywhere near the city centre. A lot of this could be lifestyle changes. They might want a new opportunity somewhere, they might try and get the coaching badges and just progress their career, or they might just be done with the game and get a paycheck, which I think everyone can agree is completely fair enough. No one has any problem with it. But then 3, and in my opinion, Ronaldo has created this category and stays there on his own, and that is the aging superstar who is in complete denial that they're no longer a top player anymore and just can't accept it. And unfortunately, this is Ronaldo. As we saw in the Piers Morgan interview that Ronaldo did, his ego was way too big for a Man United team, and this is not saying Man United weren't at fault in that situation. They clearly were. Ronaldo shouldn't have been in that squad regardless. If Man City never went for him, I don't think Ronaldo plays for Man United that year. But in my opinion, the arrogance of Ronaldo in that interview with Piers Morgan, and it's not hindsight, everyone thought at the time, how could he not see that he was a depreciating asset, like I said? How could he not see that he he needed to help on these younger players, like a Rashford, like a Sancho, and he could essentially mentor these players to help Man United be a better club. But no, he still thought he had a lot to offer, which he did, to be fair to him. He was one of the top scorers in the Premier League the season before that. However, I don't think he can understand that Ten Hag, he didn't fit into his system. But the part that really confused me was when he talked about the part where Ten Hag didn't bring him on against Man City when they were losing out of respect, but then brought him on against Tottenham when they were winning, and he claimed that is a complete contradictory statement. And in my opinion, I don't understand how a person can't realise that bringing someone on in a derby when you are losing and bringing someone on against Tottenham when you are winning are completely different scenario. And as we all saw, that is the one game that Ronaldo spat his dummy out against Spurs and walked down the tunnel, which essentially ended his Manchester United career for the second time. But to be frankly honest, it's weird the behaviour that Ronaldo is exhibiting over in Saudi Arabia. He should be a brand ambassador for football. He should be an absolute hero to so many people. And he still is. He's still got a massive legacy. However, it's things that he's been doing like recently when he was playing in the Saudi Cup final and Ali Al-Balai, who got into a bit of afters with Ronaldo. I believe he got into afters with Messi in the World Cup and also tried his luck against Son in the Asian Games. So clearly he's a bit of a wind-up merchant. However, Ronaldo elbowed him, and of course the defender made a meal out of it. However, Ronaldo got sent off, and it just seemed like he lost the plot. He even pulled his fist back as he was going to punch the referee. He's a kind of an old man doing the get off my lawn kind of thing. And it's just embarrassing to see a 39-year-old man who's got, what, 5 kids? He's supposed to be a role model doing this. We also saw it when a fan threw an Al Hilal scarf onto the tunnel when he was walking down it, and he rubbed it in his groin area. And it's just, it baffles me, because why is he doing all of this? What does he have to prove to anyone? Not every sportsman needs to be a Roger Federer who is just oozes class and is just fantastic for the kids, fantastic for the role models. I don't think sports people should just be role models. However, I think he should be within the sport. I think he should hold himself in a certain way because he's so highly regarded in the sport. He's just going to ruin a lot of things that he's built for himself, and I personally just don't understand it. Look, at the end of the day, it could go into a wider conversation about the Saudi Pro League and the other players who are going there. Benzema, I believe he scored his first goal since, I think, December the other day. And there's a lot to be said about the other players who have gone over there and essentially have just dwindled out. However, Ronaldo's held at a higher standard than everyone except for Messi. And like I say, when you're comparing Messi, who seems to be just relaxing in Miami with his family, playing every now and again with Suarez and Busquets and Alba, and just really seeing his career go out in a nice way. And you've got Ronaldo on the contrary side of it, seeming to still be dying for individual trophies and awards and team trophies, and playing in front of 8,000 and 9,000 people when he was used to playing in front of 80,000 people at the Bernabeu. It's just really a shame to how it's gone, and 5 years ago I could have not predicted, and I don't think anyone could have, how it would have gone for Cristiano Ronaldo. I could probably see him playing, for another 2 years maybe to take him to that America World Cup. And I think, as we saw in the last World Cup, I don't think he's in the Portuguese team plans as much as he'd like to be. I think Gonçalo Ramos up front is a lot more promising than Ronaldo now. I think he offers a lot more to the team. And if you look at Portugal's team on paper, I think they're an excellent team who have a chance of winning the Euros if they don't have the distraction of a 40-year-old man-child who is dying for attention and trying to get on the pitch. I will say, I hope for his sake, and obviously who cares what I say, but I hope he just retires. I hope he retires now. Everyone can forget this time in Saudi Arabia. He's made a lot of money and people can just forget about him for 5 years. It can be a bit like those aging bands who stop, break up, do nothing, and then their legacy increases more. Maybe a bit like Stone Roses, late 90s. They weren't as cool anymore. Then they broke up, people forgot about them, they came back, and everyone loves them again. And let's hope this does it for Ronaldo, because he is one of the best players ever, and he's probably one of the most inspirational athletes ever because of just his work ethic and his will to win. But it's quite embarrassing seeing it at the moment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you still enjoy watching Ronaldo play, if he still has something to offer. He's clearly still a good player. He's just nowhere near what he used to be. And I think people need to tell him that, really. But yeah, if you could like the video, that'd be great. If you could leave a comment, fantastic. And if you could subscribe to the channel, it really help me out. But thanks for watching.